Then, Mexico. A Mayan pyramid towers above World Showcase Promenade. A mariachi band sets the mood.
Epcot's Mexico Pavilion is one of the most popular pavilions at World Showcase. Its detailed facade and charming interior makes it a must-stop on a drink around the world, but its original attraction is widely forgotten and was rethemed 16 years ago. Find out what happened to it on this minisode of Theme Park Chronicles. On October 1st, 1982, Disney's second Florida theme park opened its doors to guests. It was the largest construction project on the Earth at that time. It was also the largest Disney theme park in the world until Animal Kingdom opened in 1998. On opening day, the park consisted of 5 Future World areas, including the Land, Spaceship Earth, Universe of Energy, World of Motion, and Journey into Imagination. 9 pavilions themed to countries were constructed in an area known as the World Showcase, representing the countries China, Germany, Italy, the American Adventure, Japan, France, United Kingdom, Canada, and Mexico, later joined by Morocco in September 1984 and Norway in June of 1988. The Mexico Pavilion is the first country in the World Showcase that you pass when going clockwise around the lagoon. On opening day, the pavilion presented a grand Mayan pyramid as the facade for several shops and a dining experience inside. Aside from the main building, there was a quick service restaurant on the lagoon side which served tacos, enchiladas, and beer. Inside the main building, which is a nighttime themed marketplace, there were 2 shops, which sold various souvenirs like baskets, pottery, clothing, metal sculptures, and jewelry. The full-service location is San Angel Inn Restaurante, which serves a traditional Mexican dining experience overlooking a Mesoamerican pyramid, with a volcano in the background and a lush Yucatan River. Towards the back of the building was the entrance arch to the signature attraction of the pavilion, El Rio del Tiempo, underneath the name reading, Sail the Rivers of Time. The original park map, printed in July 1982, 3 months before opening, did not include an attraction as part of the Mexico Pavilion. This is because the original plans for the attraction involved it going outdoors and being much longer. It was planned for a later opening, but construction was pushed up due to there being no other attractions in the World Showcase. As part of the grand opening in October, there would be an attraction inside the pavilion, the only one at the World Showcase until Maelstrom opened in the Norway Pavilion in 1988. El Rio del Tiempo, translated to English meaning the River of Time, takes guests down a slow-moving river through different time periods of Mexican history and culture. Guests enter the queue. Once at the loading platform, guests load their boats, which are designed by Aerodynamics, the same company that designed It's a Small World and Pirates of the Caribbean. The ride begins with a tranquil journey past the same pyramid and scenery that can be seen from the full-service restaurant's dining room. This is very similar to the Blue Bayou restaurant at Disneyland, where Pirates of the Caribbean passes by its dining area. From there you travel through an ancient temple show scene, where the statue of a Mayan priest welcomes you to Mexico ancient times.
de Mexico Welcome to that Mexico of ancient times.
Next are multiple show scenes showing live-action visuals of Mesoamerican dances and rituals, including ones representing science and nature, mathematics and astronomy, and the 4 elements. This was all filmed by Disney exclusively for this attraction, and choreographed and performed by actual Aztec dancers. Next you enter the Mexican colonial era, representing several Mexican celebrations that includes many animatronics very reminiscent of It's a Small World. This is when the main attraction's theme song begins, which was written by Imagineering legend Xavier Intencio, the same writer of A Pirate's Life for Me, the song featured in Pirates of the Caribbean, and Grim Grinning Ghosts, featured in the Haunted Mansion. You next enter another show scene themed to look like an oceanside cave that is now modern day, with projections that have multiple recreational activities, including cliff diving, water skiing, and scuba diving. The build-up to the final scene includes 3 more projections that show peddlers following your boat trying to sell you souvenirs. The final scene featured the dazzling grand finale. A large fireworks display illuminated the ceiling, and the life-size minaret carousel dancing under a gazebo to the attraction's theme song. Right before exiting, guests are shown a mural of Mexico and given a farewell by the Mayan priest. Opinions on El Rio del Tiempo were generally positive among guests. Some people loved the ride and found it to be a relaxing and enjoyable experience. It showcased scenes from Mexican history, culture, and music. Ultimately, whether El Rio del Tiempo was considered a good ride depended on individual preferences. Many guests appreciated its charm and cultural representation. The attraction operated for 25 years unchanged. Then on January 2nd, 2007, El Rio del Tiempo closed for refurbishment. On April 6, 2007, just 4 months after being closed, the attraction reopened, but not as the original journey through Mexican culture and history.
Now we're 3 gay caballeros.
The Three Caballeros was produced by Walt Disney in 1944. It consisted of 4 short stories featuring Donald Duck traveling around South America, opening birthday gifts from his Latin American friends. Donald's trio include Jose Carioca, the cigar-smoking parrot representing Brazil, and Panchito Pistoles, a pistol-wielding rooster who is the only Mexican character of the group. The film was actually part of a goodwill message to Latin America, and included many Latin American stars of the time period. It premiered in Mexico City on December 21st, 1944. It was much less controversial in modern-day standards than many other films produced by Disney during the 1940s. The attraction would reopen as the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros. Entering the Grand Fiesta Tour, guests walk under a rethemed archway with a new name and characters. Posters in the queue line indicate the Three Caballeros are performing a concert tonight. The ride begins largely unchanged. Guests travel past the pyramid scene and enter through the broken wall into the temple. The next scene, however, was very different. The statue of the priest was replaced by a projection of Jose and Panchito searching for Donald Duck. The next scenes continued to show the two searching for Donald, showing various landmarks of Mexico. Every single scene that used to show the unique and interesting rituals of ancient Mexican civilizations was now gone. The festival scene remained mostly unchanged, besides the piñata now being Donald Duck. The next show scene also only changed a few of the projections. Some of them appear very similar to the previous besides adding the characters to them. The former scene that showed peddlers selling souvenirs was now a mariachi band, a group of women admiring Donald, then Jose and Panchito trying to pull Donald away. The finale includes a familiar fireworks display in Mexico City, showing the Three Caballeros reunited and on stage performing their famous song.
We're Pop y amigos, no matter where he goes, the 1, 2, and 3 goes, we're always together.
The attraction did not have audio animatronics in this scene until 2015. The animatronics themselves have quite a history. They were reused from the Mickey Mouse Revue, an opening day attraction at Magic Kingdom in 1971, until that eventually closed on September 14th, 1980. They then went on to perform at Tokyo Disneyland for another 26 years in its version of the Mickey Mouse Revue, before returning home to Florida and being installed seemingly overnight, as it was never officially announced that they were being added. Reusing 50-year-old animatronics doesn't come without its kinks. Some of the more recent history of the animatronics occurred in 2020, when a video emerged of the Jose animatronic malfunctioning. The next day, he was replaced by an assortment of items from the pavilion's gift shop. This was obviously not a good look, so that was replaced with a small flower arrangement. Later in January 2021, a guest noticed that Donald was being propped up by boxes. The next day, the Donald animatronic completely disappeared, just as Jose did. Instead of flowers, he was replaced by a makeshift memorial with a sombrero. This lasted for a week before it was removed. After 3 weeks, the entire trio disappeared from the stage. Usually when this happens, the attraction runs a B show that used the original projections that the guests experienced the first 8 years of the retheming. Instead, guests were met with a trio of static flat cutouts. This lasted for about 4 months until the animatronics returned. Before exiting, guests passed the same mural of Mexico with the Three Caballeros saying their farewells over the audio. Overall, the reaction from guests was still mainly positive, but there were many that were upset with Disney over the retheming. Some argued that it no longer had anything to do with the culture and history of Mexico, and was just a move by Disney to include its characters in the attraction. The exact reason behind the retheming remains unknown, but most likely it was changed to increase guest interest of the pavilion and attraction, and also fit into Disney's new vision of the future of Epcot. The same fate would await the Maelstrom attraction in 2014, making way for Frozen Ever After. Overall, the original attraction had many fans, and even to this day, several guests are still disappointed that the original boat ride that graced the Mexico Pavilion is no longer. Only one relic from the original ride is known to still exist. The priest figure seen at the beginning of the ride was put on display at the Disney Archive exhibit at the Bowers Museum in Santa Ana, California, sometime in 2020. What are your thoughts about the retheme of the original attraction at the Mexico Pavilion? Did you like the original, or do you like the changes including Disney characters? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and consider subscribing for more videos in the near future.